Today on Investigate TV Plus, a devastating delay.
You obviously want to focus on grieving your mother, but you're out here doing an investigation.
It was crippling.
Following her mother's death, one missing signature turned a straightforward process into a prolonged ordeal.
We still don't have any death certificate.
And we found out she's not alone. We dig deeper into death certificate delays, examine a shortage contributing to the wait, plus
I needed to grieve, but I also needed to do the legal things that I needed to do.
reveal how a grieving daughter finally found some peace.
Then, classroom conundrum. An alarming number of students continue to miss school and fall behind their peers.
Being chronically absent is if you miss 10% or more of the school year.
We explore the impact of chronic absenteeism and a solution to make attendance matter.
And when life gives you a stormy day, you should feel inspired to play in the puddles.
There's nothing like a rain dancer.
We introduce you to an organization empowering children with critical medical needs.
In-depth stories that inform and inspire. You're watching Investigate TV Plus. When someone dies, the process of closing out their life sometimes falls on grieving family members or friends. But without a death certificate, carrying out their final wishes and settling their estate becomes nearly impossible, often causing further grief. I'm Tisha Powell.
And I'm Lee Zurich. A death certificate serves as legal proof someone has passed. It's needed to claim insurance benefits, close bank accounts, access government programs like Social Security, and transfer property. Just outside Atlanta, a woman says she was unable to properly grieve or handle essential legal matters because of a holdup involving her mother's death certificate.
Investigative reporter Sierra Cummings uncovers the reasons for the months-long delay and reveals how the family received closure.
I missed that.
Roberta Gardner says her greatest supporter was her mom, Nancy Young. They've been working on this puzzle together, but since Mom's death on March 11th, 2025, the project sat still. Until now.
Shocked. Completely shocked.
The problem begins where the police investigation ends.
What's going on?
On March 11th, Gwinnett County Police arrived to the home. After checking around, interviewing family, learning Nancy had seizures and dementia, officers decide this death is not suspicious, telling relatives,
It appears natural. There's no signs of foul play or anything like that. So, were you calling the medical examiner? Hello?
Police call the Gwinnett County Medical Examiner's office while on scene. The agency agrees this is a natural death. But the question the staffer asks the officer next will change the course of how the death certificate is handled.
Does she have a primary care physician?
She does.
Because this was a natural death,
Because she takes medication for seizures.
because Nancy had a physician that she'd recently seen for prescribed medication, this is now an unattended death. In Georgia, unattended death is when a doctor has treated a patient for potentially life-threatening illness within 60 days prior to the patient's passing. So in circumstances like Nancy's, Georgia law explains the death certificate is not the local medical examiner's responsibility. Instead, the doctor must sign it within 72 hours. But days
We still don't have any death certificate.
turned into weeks of waiting.
But we also are being held responsible for figuring out how to get it and how to get this legal document signed.
2 months later, still no signed death certificate.
You obviously want to focus on grieving your mother. Like there's a loss that just came through your family, but you're out here doing an investigation, for lack of better words.
Yes. It was crippling. It was crippling for me. The medical examiner's office said, we're advocating for you. You should know that that doctor is legally bound to sign your mother's death certificate. And the fact that he won't is a problem, and we're going to go after his license.
Since June 2024, the Georgia Medical Board received 60 complaints against doctors who failed to sign death certificates.
I needed to grieve, but I also needed to do the legal things that I needed to do to make sure that the insurance company didn't come after me, and to also begin to close the chapter. And I feel like, that some of that is the first step, and I couldn't make those steps.
Often, doctors refuse to sign because the patient was not physically in their hospital at the time of death. But that's misinterpretation of the law, according to some local medical examiners. What's worse, the Gwinnett County ME wrote in this recent report, a physician refuses because he or she does not face significant repercussions. The added burden of subpoenaing medical records, reviewing records, and signing death certificate falls upon the medical examiner, an already overburdened, understaffed system. The National Association of Medical Examiners estimating the U.S. only has 750 MEs when 1,400 are needed. The effects felt by Roberta.
It's shaken me to my core. I realize with every part of me that death is part of the continuity of care, but I don't think the doctors believe that.
The delays in this case only delayed her grieving process, too.
She loved it here.
But now, Roberta takes us to a nearby park, to the beloved bench where her mom was most at peace. This day, Roberta finds peace here, too, because the doctor officially signed the death certificate May 27th, 2.5 months after Nancy's passing.
We do feel betrayed by the doctors who did not care. It felt like a business transaction, and that once my mother passed, it was hands off.
Young's family say they called and went down to the doctor's office asking them to sign the death certificate, but the doctor's office declined. In response, the doctor's office says they have no record of phone calls and they didn't get the patient's death certificate until May 15th, 2025. Meanwhile, the medical board says it's aware of these ongoing issues, and they're partnering with the Georgia Bureau of Investigation and the Georgia Department of Public Health to educate and train physicians. In Atlanta, I'm Sierra Cummings.
Dying with assets from a house to a car to a savings account can leave your heirs with a complicated legal fight.
Even with a will, your family may be forced to go through a cumbersome court process called probate. Joe Miller lost his father in June 2021, but despite having a will, everything his father owned was off limits, as it took a long time to validate the document. More than 4 years later, his family continues to navigate probate and still can't access everything he owned.
We need to grieve properly, and we cannot grieve properly if these things are not worked out.
Lawyers we spoke to say you can avoid probate by starting an estate plan or setting up a revocable living trust.
You can learn more about probate laws in every state by going to InvestigateTV.com and typing "dues of dying" in the search bar.
Still to come, he calls himself the world's most unique soccer fan.
Family tradition type thing. Over the years, it's just been more ingrained and it's gotten more personal for me.
But the devotion for his team runs deeper than wins, losses, and draws. We reveal how a fight against a rare illness shapes his ultimate goal.
But first, empty seats in classrooms around the country and reports of more and more students falling behind. We examine chronic absenteeism and explore a solution to get children back to school.
You can watch Investigate TV Plus anytime online. Just subscribe to our YouTube channel at Investigate TV. You can catch stories and full episodes.
For parents and children alike, a school can be considered a second home, a place where they can learn values, discipline, and teamwork.
But when kids are chronically absent from class, researchers say they're more likely to have long-term health challenges, impaired social development, and less financial success.
Chronic absenteeism is when a child misses at least 10% of school days. During the 2023-2024 school year, about 1 in 10 districts nationwide reported chronic absenteeism rates of 30%.
In Oregon, education advocates warn school attendance has reached a crisis level.
Reporter Ezra Kaplan examines the consequences and a school district's solution to get more kids back in the classroom.
Teachers at McNary High School in Kaiser are getting ready to head out and knock on some doors.
It's an opportunity for teachers to go out in the community and meet the freshmen for the first time.
It's part of the district's Attendance Matters campaign, working to increase the rate of student attendance.
We want our students to be at school because we know that that's the best place for them to grow and just really prepare for the next steps of after they graduate.
The problem is, a lot of them just aren't showing up.
So being chronically absent is if you miss 10% or more of the school year. We have about 170 days in Oregon, so it's missing 17 or more days puts you in that category of being chronically absent.
That means that a third of Oregon students are missing more than 3.5 weeks of school every year. And academic performance is suffering. Data shows that there is a strong correlation between being chronically absent in the early years of education and failing to learn to read by the 3rd grade. Historically, making sure kids are staying in school falls on the shoulders of truancy officers. But in Oregon, that's no longer an option.
We ended truancy officers in the legislature a couple sessions ago. And I think the challenge in Oregon is we didn't replace it with anything.
That policy has left school districts like Salem-Kaiser on their own to figure out how to help teachers keep kids in school. Still, much of the work falls to the teachers like Diana Huerta, who teaches Spanish and uses her own background to connect with parents and students alike.
I mean, I feel like representation matters, and getting out in our community, being, bilingual, Latina, talking to families in their home language is very important.
We don't know yet the impact of the campaign or just the work that our schools are doing.
In the meantime, teachers like Huerta are taking it upon themselves to intervene when a student isn't showing up.
I pick up the phone and I call whoever comes up as their first relative, and I go down the line and just call and give them a, hey, student hasn't been coming to class. And normally 9 out of 10 times, I do see the kid come back.
Whether it's knocking on doors or picking up the phone, teachers know each small act can help bring a student back to class.
Communities and Schools says the earlier absenteeism is addressed, the better the outcomes for students.
Community organizations can be part of the solution by providing in-school services, programs, and mentorships. Businesses can also help by offering flexible work schedules for parents. Also, schools can destigmatize absenteeism by shifting the mindset from punishment to intervention.
Still ahead, a young girl's legacy shines through even during a family's darkest times.
She taught us to just dance in the rain in the midst of all the storms.
We show you how her memory inspires them to embrace life's challenges.
But first, he took an incredibly rare diagnosis and turned it into an eye-opening tool.
Some point in that conversation, they'll finally get up the nerve to say what happened.
We reveal how a soccer club inspired a mega fan to overcome his toughest opponent.
You can watch Investigate TV Plus anytime streaming online. Get the app for Roku, Amazon Fire TV, and Apple TV. It's free to download. An extremely rare diagnosis affects only 5 or 6 out of every million people each year.
Ocular melanoma is a type of eye cancer that starts in specialized cells that make melanin, the pigment that gives color to your eyes and skin. Most eye melanomas form in parts of the eye you can't see when looking in a mirror.
It may not cause any symptoms, but when they do happen, signs can include flashes of light that look like specks of dust, a growing dark spot in the colored part of the eye, poor or blurry vision in one eye, and loss of peripheral vision. Treatment for large ocular melanomas typically leads to vision loss and, in some cases, loss of the entire eye.
For a man living outside Charlotte, he turned his eye cancer diagnosis into an opportunity. Reporter Cam Gaskins shows us how he's raising awareness and showing support for his favorite team.
Over time, it just got more and more solidified.
For all of Ryan Gibson's life, Bayern Munich has been a staple, a relationship handed down through generations.
Family tradition type thing. Over the years, it's just been more ingrained and it's gotten more personal for me.
Through every chapter of his life.
It's always there, it's the constant.
Including his most difficult chapter.
In 2016, basically, I started seeing like spots everywhere.
After weeks of blurry vision and spots in his right eye, Gibson finally went to a doctor and got a diagnosis he never expected.
Like the 30 years she's been an eye doctor, she's never seen that before.
Ocular melanoma, a cancer that occurs in only 5 out of every 1 million adults, according to the National Organization for Rare Diseases.
It was like the Yeti or Bigfoot. Heard of it, never seen it.
Gibson faced a choice: radiation treatment on his eye or amputation.
I went ahead and made the decision, pop it out.
Then when it came to finding a prosthetic replacement, he had another choice to make.
I can go back to normality and get the same eye. Nobody will really know. Or I can go big or go home.
So after a few phone calls, including getting official clearance from the club itself, Gibson unveiled his new look on life, and Bayern Ryan was born.
I want to use it as a tool, not just an eye.
A tool that no doubt leads to plenty of questions and conversations at every game he attends. Gibson says those conversations allowed the unique opportunity to raise awareness.
At some point in that conversation, they'll finally get up the nerve to say what happened. And when they get to that point, then you have the opening for awareness for ocular melanoma.
His love of Bayern Munich has taken him from his home in Clover, South Carolina, all over the world.
I have to sit extremely close so I can at least see what's going on.
And a reminder of the journey that Bayern Munich has helped him through over the last decade.
For some people, it's not just a game. Some people just don't quite grasp that.
Gibson wants to encourage anyone having issues with their eyes to get regular dilated pupil exams to catch any potential cancer early. I don't know about you, but when we were watching it, our jaws like dropped in the middle of that story. Wow.
Yes,
right?
absolutely. But you know, when you think about it, people get tattoos of their team logos and things like that. This is really unique, though.
And you know, it's a conversation starter for sure, and he can bring awareness to an important topic. So
he's one of a kind.
He is definitely one of a kind, yes. Up next, inspire to dream big.
Because I told my parents after we dropped off my older brother at Virginia Tech that my dream was to go to Virginia Tech
and overcome their challenges. We show how a young girl's lasting spirit encourages families to take nothing for granted.
Life is hard sometimes, and but if you get caught up in the hard part, you'll miss it.
Our in-depth coverage continues. You can get connected to Investigate TV Plus on all social media platforms. A well-known motivational quote goes, "Life isn't about waiting for the storm to pass. It's about learning to dance in the rain."
It's also the motto behind a mom's inspiration to carry on her late daughter's legacy and support children facing medical challenges. Reporter Deborah Alfarone takes us inside the Sweet Julia Grace Foundation.
In this field in Virginia, hundreds came to cheer on children on a sprawling course with no time limit nor joy limit.
Today we're celebrating them, and you know, it's just it's such an honor to come inside of a family's inner circle and grieve with them, celebrate with them, have good days with them, be there for the hard days, and all because Julia connected us to them.
This is Julia. Without her spirit, this celebration for children with complex medical needs wouldn't exist.
Sweet Julia Grace is my daughter. My husband and I had a beautiful little girl named Julia who passed away in 2013. We wanted to be able to come alongside families like ours and help families dance in the rain, just like she taught us to do. How did she teach you to do that? Life is hard sometimes, and but if you get caught up in the hard part, you'll miss it. Julia was 12 when she passed away, and she had a lot of beautiful days, but she had a lot of hard days. But even in the hard days, she smiled, and she wanted us to be by her side, and she was loving and loved us. She taught us to just dance in the rain in the midst of all the storms.
That's why every child here is called a rain dancer.
It's a day to celebrate no one here takes for granted. Sarah says the Sweet Julia Grace Foundation has helped about 400 families living in Virginia and West Virginia. They do it in many ways. They provide care packages to children and families at hospitals and grant wishes to rain dancers. John McGraw is one of them.
They changed my life forever because I told my parents after we dropped off my older brother at Virginia Tech that my dream was to go to Virginia Tech, and they told me, okay, well, we need to strive to make you as independent as possible for you to go to college by yourself. They came over and, what can we do for you? And we said, well, we need a handicapped accessible bathroom. The first time where we realized, whoa, this is a dream that can be realized.
John is now a sophomore at Virginia Tech, inspiring and rooting for the next generation of rain dancers.
We want to not focus on the hard things they're going through. We want to take the inspiration they give us and celebrate them and share it with the world.
These are beautiful children, and the children are our future. And so when we see their resilience to get through anything and everything, that gives us hope that we can get through anything in life together.
And that's a message we can all get behind, learning to dance in the rain together.
They will teach you how to be brave and courageous and resilient and smile even when it's hard. There's nothing like a rain dancer.
And that's it for us on Investigate TV Plus. I'm Lee Zurich.
And I'm Tisha Powell. Thanks for watching. On the next Investigate TV Plus.
I thought I was never going to shoot you.
A mother's cry of relief after she realizes the sound of her daughter's voice pleading for help was all a scam.
Just how convincing was the sound of her voice? It's my child. I know my child's voice, and it sounded exactly like my child's voice that I've heard every day of my life.
As artificial intelligence evolves, we examine how criminals are finding new ways to trick families and how it's costing some far more than just money.